Hey everyone, how's it going? Nick with Vant Trading here. I've been asked to make a video going into this Christmas week covering what the top stocks in play for us are, what we think of this market going into this week, and what we will be watching and what stocks you should probably be watching if you're a swing trader, an intraday trader, whatever. So first off, we'll always take a look at the market first and the market structure. Friday was quad witching day. We saw a lot of volatility, a lot of movement in some of these stocks. It is why we saw that large volume spike yesterday. And so now that that's kind of done and out of the way, we expect the market to go back to some normal trading. Now, it is important to note that if you're watching this on Sunday, today, the Congress should be voting on the stimulus bill. It is expected to pass. If it does pass, that is going to be a big deal in the market. These are headlines we've been hearing about since prior to the election, and it's something that's really been causing a lot of volatility and gapping in the market. So what do we expect in the market this week? Well, first of all, I want to remind you Friday is closed with trading. It is Christmas Day in the US, and Christmas Eve will be Thursday, so I don't expect much trading there. It'll probably be a light volume trading day, barring any headlines. Now, again, this is an extenuating circumstances in this week, so you might see a little more volume in here, but if we get over this 371 in the market, which, if stimulus passes today, we're probably gapping over it, we could break out in the market again, and we are setting up to break out pretty nicely considering we continue to put in higher lows and higher highs. So while I may be bearish in a lot of aspects, I am not putting on a short in this market by any means. Now, if this market gaps up, and if it gaps up to a large extent, if we see ourselves gapping up 374, be very cautious about Monday's trading because that's a pretty large gap, and we'll probably see us pull back a little bit, maybe try to fill that gap a little bit, find some support before we continue on. If stimulus doesn't pass, well then, we might see some uncertainty as people might smack out of this market because the end of the year is coming and there's a lot of things that are going to expire going into January. So that's going to be something to definitely know going into Monday is whether stimulus is passed. We've got our levels that we're watching. Our main levels to watch here are 371 on the upside on the SPY. 368 is kind of going to be your support-ish zone. The real level is kind of this 364. Those are kind of your three levels to watch. Now, if we break this 371 and we break out in the SPY, where are we going? At that point, nothing is stopping us from reaching 400, especially if this stimulus brings in more funds, more liquidity into the market. We saw last time the stimulus hit the market, a lot of people opened up Robinhood accounts. You better believe that that's just going to be more artificial inflation in the market, at least for the time being. Now, that is what we're watching in the market. What are the top stocks that we think are in play this week? Well, I'm going to break them out by a couple different categories here because I don't know what type of trader you are, and I want to make sure we cover a large spectrum here of stocks in play. First of all, we'll talk about the big boys. Apple is your market general. You do not really want to be trading the market or trying to invest in the market without knowing what Apple's doing because a lot of times it drags the cues with it, and it'll drag the market with it. Apple is in a breakout mode right now, so definitely keep an eye on Apple. If Apple can get back above, and I'm going to zoom back in here for you, this 128, I think there is nothing stopping us from moving higher. So that's something to keep an eye on. Tesla is going to be a big topic of discussion this week, I guarantee you, because Tesla was just added to the S&P 500. It was an all or nothing. It was a complete inclusion in the S&P 500. They didn't scale in. They added it all. That is a lot. That was a lot of institutional buying that was going on in Tesla that is now subsiding this week. So yes, Tesla is in a breakout. I don't recommend you buy this long term only because we're kind of getting to an important level, $700. I expect it to put up a little bit of resistance just because of the psychological level. We saw 600 put up a little bit of a fight, 500 put up a little bit of a fight, 400 put up a little bit of a fight. It's going to be a psychological level, and that institutional buying is done. Now, that does not mean you should be shorting Tesla because, as you can see on the daily, it is in full breakout mode. But it's going to be interesting to watch. Yesterday's price action into the close was nothing on the traders' ideas going into the market. In fact, if you watch our Vant Rant podcast from Friday, we talk about why it dropped and why it spiked. It was about those imbalance orders, and that is it. So keep an eye on Tesla for sure. It's going to be very in play, and a lot of people are going to be watching it. Same with Peloton. Peloton was added to the NASDAQ 100. It got a lot of institutional buying. It was full breakout mode. This is a momentum push right now. We are at all-time highs, and this is going to be an important moment for Peloton. Same as Tesla, that institutional buying should be gone, so it's going to be interesting to watch if that resistance steps back in at 140. If Peloton can hold over 140, and if we can see Peloton start to move back up to these highs, expect a second day possible last squeeze out, maybe a continued move in Peloton. But you need to understand that this is a pretty sizable, solid move in Peloton. I would hopefully expect 140 to put up a little bit of a fight, maybe we get a little bit of a pullback or some kind of consolidation. And then from there, if we get a continuation, great. If not, it's fine. You get a nice short opportunity. But Peloton was just like Tesla, had a little catalyst in it going into being included in the NASDAQ 100. That catalyst is gone. Fantastic breakout play here that we've been talking about every single day. Now's the real test as to what Peloton's going to do going forward. One more big boy play, Netflix. Great breakout potential here. You know, the moving averages are crossing back over. If the market is strong, I would expect Netflix to continue to be strong. Great breakout on the daily here. You've got some pretty good levels to work with over from Friday and Thursday, this kind of 536-ish. If we can get over that double top, I think Netflix has a lot of room to run until we get into resistance. That is if you're looking for more big boy plays. Now, let's talk about some of the stocks that have been running, because you may not have noticed, but there have been a couple stocks that have been really quietly taking off. First of all is Chewy. Look at these last couple of days going from $80 to 100 in the last pretty much week alone. I love Chewy fundamentally. I have been on the Chewy train pretty much since, I think, the summer. They have a great business model. Quarantine is great for them, and I think people are just going to realize that they can just continue to use Chewy even past. Now, we're at a key psychological level of $100. This is going to be the moment where if you're looking for a pullback in Chewy, maybe we can at least get this gap fill here. That's a good first target if you're looking for a short, but you need to see $100 fail. So it's going to depend on where we open here. Now, with the market possibly gapping up into Monday, that might cause a lot of these stocks to gap up, so you got to be careful. But $100 is going to be a pretty decent level for Chewy here. See if we can get below, and then maybe get that pullback, or we're flagging here for a continued leg up. Some other stocks running, Square, SQ. I haven't traded this one in a while. It's a little shitty to trade intraday, I'll be completely honest. As a day trader, you really need a good momentum day with good volume for it to be good. We will see if this one can continue to the breakout, but this one is continuing to run. And finally, Stitch Fix. This one has gone up 100% this month alone. Since December 7th, we have gone from 35 to 70. This is an unbelievable run in Stitch Fix. It was kind of catalyzed by earnings, which is perfectly fine. You know, a good earnings can absolutely do that to a stock. Now we need to see, well, what is going to be happening here? You know, buying here is inadvisable because we're up 100% in a month. You really don't want to be buying this far. You've kind of missed most of the move, let's be honest. Shorting is probably inadvisable unless you see that resistance step in. You need confirmation. We're not trying to pick tops and bottoms here, people. But I think Stitch Fix will give us some opportunity coming soon just because of the momentum it's made. Now, what are some possible second day plays from Friday? There's a couple stocks that went absolutely bananas. FireEye. Look at this massive move in FireEye. For those who don't know, they are online kind of a security company, and with the hacks that have been going on with the Solar City company that have been going and spreading through the U.S. government, we've seen the security companies run. FireEye was one of those stocks. Look at that massive pop in volume, and look at this unbelievably strong intraday action. What do I expect from FireEye? What you need to watch is this kind of double top right here. 1990 really is kind of what you need to be watching. If we were to open up here, it's looking a little bearish, but this is your level that you want to see break, is this 1875 on the downside. Then after that, you're using levels from yesterday on consolidation. I would expect a pullback in this. This is a pretty large move for FireEye. It's not like they haven't gotten a new contract or anything as a result of this, but keep in mind that they could, and there could be headline risk coming into this one, but that is a fantastic move that could give us some follow-up action. CURO, C-U-R-O, beautiful breakout here. Look at this wonderful increase in volume. What's happening here is that they have a 40%, I believe, ownership of a stock that is going public through a SPAC. And so this FinServ acquisition that is happening is going to help this company possibly get a little extra cash, have a little more money in the marketplace. Obviously, a good catalyst for a company like this. You've got some beautiful levels from yesterday. Going into Monday, if we break this 15, I think it's time to pull back, and then you're going to see a really nice short opportunity. If we start stepping up through 17 and 18, I think you might get a secondary pop. Now, don't expect the pop to be this strong by any means. It's going to be a lot weaker. Keep that in mind. Another second day play is JMIA. We've traded this one several times over the last couple of months. It's been fantastic. This is a beautiful breakout here. Look at this wonderful kind of 4 times, maybe even 5 times top here that we finally broke around 41. That is kind of our breakout point here. And if I zoom in, you'll see we finished relatively strong. So if we get over 43, I think it's continuation time. If we pull back, that's perfectly fine. We'll give this a day or so to see if we retest and hold and then continue that leg up. Couple other stocks that are possibly breaking out on the daily. TPGY, this is a SPAC that has since kind of pulled back. Well, we're seeing that rounding back up action, and we know that these SPAC blank check companies can absolutely get their legs under them. We're seeing the volume step back up ever so slightly, which is a good sign. So TPGY, if we get up over 26 tomorrow or maybe even anytime during the week, we will probably see this one push for new highs. Some other SPACs, QS, this one has run astronomically. I am not saying that you should be investing in this one by any means, but we are getting a second move in this one. We're seeing the volume kind of perk up a little bit, which is good. So this one might be a pretty good day trader, as well as Laser, L-A-Z-R. This one got hit a little harder than QS, got pulled back, but we're actually playing a little catch up on this gap in this after hours action that we saw on Friday. So look at this nice gap up in Laser. Depending on where this one is on Monday, this might be one to watch on Monday for sure. You might get some increased volume and some really good price action. A couple stocks to watch if you're watching Bitcoin, Riot and Mara. Riot has kind of been the day trader one more lately. Riot's a little better of a trader, has had a nice breakout. It runs whenever Bitcoin runs, and Mara's trying to play a little catch up here. The only reason I mentioned Mara is because we're putting in a nice little kind of flag here, and if we can get over 1050, then you might get some nice pop in Mara. Obviously, that's kind of contingent upon Bitcoin as well, but that's something to keep in mind. Grow Generation, if you like playing weed stocks or you're looking for a good weed stock to play, this has been a really good day trader. This has been a really good swing trader. We've got a really nice flag sitting up here right at a breakout point above 36. I really like how this one's setting up right now for another leg up. We obviously want to see us get over probably this $40, and then this one could make another leg up. But we're really seeing some nice moves on this one when it breaks out. A couple other breakout plays. Dave & Buster's actually is breaking out really nicely on the daily. Just had earnings. The earnings were fine. They weren't blowout. They weren't complete disappointments. But if you're looking for those reopening plays to start coming back as we start to see the vaccine rollout come back into play, as we see more stimulus come back out into play, then you might see stocks like Dave & Buster's get a little bit of pop here. Dave & Buster's looking really good on the daily. Obviously, we need to see that confirmation. The issue here is it's not really going to be a day trader probably because it's not doing too much volume, but you might get some plays in these reopening plays, the cruise lines, the airlines, something along those lines. One thing I wouldn't recommend you play is the movie theaters, but you do have some other opportunity, and I think Dave & Buster's PLAY is setting up decently on the daily. Two other stocks, NEO. NEO, every time they get down to this $40 area, they dip by the hell out of it. And now NEO is back up towards these highs here. I think if NEO looks like it's going to reapproach $50 a share, I think we get another blow up in NEO. I think this one could burst back out. This is, to my knowledge, not some BS company. This is like China's Tesla, I believe, but I could be wrong on that one. Some of the other guys here know a little more than me on that, but NEO is looking very promising and looking very strong here if we can reapproach 50. And also you have DocuSign. We like DocuSign. Obviously, it's a really good quarantine play, but it's just going to be a good play going forward as people look for things like DocuSign and e-signatures more in the future. Beautiful breakout. This level right here, this kind of 229, has been a massive level on the daily. And we have now approached this failure point, this secondary failure point of 247 several times. I don't think Docu's done with this level yet. I think personally, I would love to see us not get back below 238, and I'd like to see us return to the 247. And if we do break and hold, I think we're reapproaching highs personally. That's just based on this price action. What I'm seeing with the moving averages starting to curl up, volume's looking pretty good. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on DocuSign, and I want to see if it can hold. A couple stocks still setting up on the dailies. ARVN, look at this beautiful flag up here. We are seeing a monster flag, great levels to trade off of. Keeping an eye on this one. I need volume to kind of keep where it is and hopefully perk back up, but good levels to play off of. And if it gets over 75, I think we see a really nice move in ARVN. AMD has been flagging up here. We've been trading AMD nonstop, maybe not nonstop, but it's been a fantastic trader. We are very bullish on AMD. Problem is it had a very nasty headline on Friday, and I believe it was that Microsoft is going to be developing some of their own chips. So we saw semiconductors get hit. Now, that could be the catalyst for people to start to take profit in AMD. So if you're looking for that pullback in AMD, if we start to get below 95, I think this is probably going to be your opportunity to see if we can at least return back into this zone and maybe even retest 87. If we hold and we regain footing in this consolidation here, I would expect us to at least test $100. We will see. It's still setting up. Workhorse flagging really beautifully here. Workhorse is going to break at some point. I don't know which direction. Volume's dried up, which is not good, but if we can get something to bring volume in and get Workhorse moving, look at these beautiful descending highs we're seeing in Workhorse. It's been absolutely clean on these levels, and we're consolidating beautifully. I'm still waiting to see. It might not break this week, but it still looks good. If you like those sports betting companies, Penn has been an absolute monster, breaking out. I don't know if this one's done necessarily. I may not trade this one right away. Yesterday was a very choppy indecision of a day, and it's been a little naughty as a day trader sometimes, but this one might set up some really clean levels and give us some good trading going forward. DraftKings is not quite playing as strongly, but you might see some sympathy catching up in DraftKings. Definitely something I'm going to keep a loose eye on. If you want this to be bullish, you need to see this at least get over 55, start testing the highs of these previous 2 days, and then maybe we'll see us go higher. The issue is we just filled this gap here, and now we're seeing that weakness. That's not a good sign on DraftKings. Keep a loose eye on DraftKings. Two more stocks. Jinko Solar. We're seeing the solar plays get a little more pop. If you're looking for one to swing trade, FSLR might be more your style. That's kind of the big boy in the industry. But Jinko Solar has had a hell of a fall in September, and we might see a little extra pop here. Problem is we need to see us start to lift back up, especially with solar sitting getting hit, Biden coming in. All the Biden plays have been strong, the solar stocks, the weed stocks, the alternative energy stocks. We might get that second move in Jinko Solar. I need that confirmation first. I'm going to wait and see what this one does over the next couple of days. And finally, Walmart. Look at this beautiful consolidation here in Walmart. I think if Walmart cracks this 145, we might see a drop off. The thing is that stimulus headline is coming in. Stimulus is going to be good for Walmart. Everything's good for Walmart. Everyone shops at Walmart. That's why we didn't really see Walmart get hit during the initial pandemic. In fact, Walmart actually got stronger. So definitely going to be one to keep an eye on here. We're flagging in a very clear downtrend here. It doesn't matter how good it might look on the short side. If there's one stock that taught me and should teach you that, yes, Lowe's looked fantastic on the short side. All it takes is one good headline and a strong market, and you can see that awesome setup kind of evaporate. But if we have stimulus issues, if stimulus doesn't have any impact on Walmart, we see it crack that 145, you might get a nice pullback, or this might be the good bounce point. I don't know yet. We're going to wait for confirmation. That's just another possible stock in play. I'm going to end it there. There's so many more opportunities out there. You'll have your Myrnas and your Pfizers if you want to trade the vaccine names. I'm staying off of those. I don't think there's really any edge right now. They're very headline prone, but there's going to be a lot of opportunity. No real earnings this week. No real IPOs this week. You'll have some economic numbers on Tuesday and Wednesday, but that is it. So going to be pretty light in trading this week. I would expect light volume, so be very careful. Take your profits quicker and be a little smarter with your entries. You should be pickier if you're going to trade this week. Otherwise, we will be here every morning for your morning market analysis, and we'll be here Monday through Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern with the Vant podcast. This was Nick with Vant Trading. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and as always, safe trading.